session. This session is all about 200 important grammar rules. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Every day I'm going to teach on an average 5 rules, 5 important rules. And today, first I'll be talking about some pertinent questions, important questions and relevant questions like why should you learn grammar rules, how to learn, how many to learn, all these questions will be answered. Now let me start the session with the very first question, why should you learn rules? When it comes to grammar, if you take school level, you must have learned grammar. Then why should you learn grammar again? That grammar is called academic grammar, and this is called grammar for competitive exams. If you ask me, sir, what is the difference between the two? School grammar, the focus is more on concepts and examples. But here, grammar for competitive exams, the focus is more on rules. And in the exam, they ask questions based on rules. That is the reason why any candidate preparing for competitive exams, English section, should be very good at grammar rules. And that is like introduction. Why should you learn rules? When it comes to competitive exams, English section, many questions are based on grammar rules. Exceptions are there, questions based on exceptions. That is 80%, and common errors 20%. If you take grammar as such, because this is 200 grammar rules, you should ask the question, why should we learn grammar rules? Why should we learn grammar? Based on grammar rules, we have some exam topics. One, error location. Second, sentence improvement. Third, phrase replacement. Fourth, correct sentence. Last one, wrong sentence. To answer all these exam topics, each one 5 questions, you should be good at grammar, concepts. You should have conceptual clarity. You should also be good at 200 grammar rules. That is the reason why you have to learn. And when you take grammar, there are two areas. 80%, the major chunk, the lion's share, 80% questions are based on rules and exceptions. In English, we have rules, we have exceptions. You have to learn both. And 20%, we have common errors made by educated Indians. We don't mention that, we say common errors. And 20%, they may touch common errors. Now, let us go to the next question. How should you learn rules? Fine, you have to learn rules. The question is a pertinent question. How should you learn rules? First, you should learn the concepts and then you should learn the rules. Your approach should be systematic and you should learn rules based on individual topics. Now, what happens here, whenever you learn something, especially when you try to learn grammar, grammar is not that easy because grammar is abstract. What is abstract? Something you cannot see or touch. Grammar is purely conceptual. Anything abstract, anything conceptual, not easy to handle. And because of that, today, if you go to the US, the UK, they also find English grammar difficult. They have grammar schools, and only rich families can afford to send the kids to grammar schools. But if you take a focused approach, you learn in a systematic way, grammar should not trouble you. You have to learn the concepts. I always tell students, whatever you learn, do remember conceptual clarity is important. When you learn concepts well, it becomes easy for you to learn the grammar rules. Imagine your concepts are not clear, then you cannot handle the rules. So, first step is what? Learn grammar concepts and based on the topics. And once you learn the concepts, you learn the rules. Here, concepts, and then you should learn rules. And your approach should always be systematic. What is systematic? You start with parts of speech. How do I take you guys? If you take grammar again, we have certain topics, and some topics depend on words. What are the topics that depend on words? Parts of speech, articles, and we also consider helping verbs. And we have something called core grammar. And here the topics are based on sentences. What are the topics we have here? Tenses, question tags, conditionals, voice, speech, types of sentences conquered. And this is in a way higher level. And you have to learn the rules in a systematic way based on topics. We start with parts of speech, we start with nouns, then I take you in a systematic way, then I may teach rules related to articles, then I will take you to core grammar, then there I will teach all the rules that go with topics related to core grammar. This is a systematic approach. Coming to the next question, A pertinent question, an important question: how many rules do we have to learn? How many should you learn? In English, if you take, generally speaking, not to scare you people, there are about 500 rules. And if you ask me, sir, do we have to learn all the 500? My answer will be no. You don't have to learn all the 500 rules. Then comes the question, how many rules do I have to learn? You should learn about 200 important grammar rules. And these sessions from now on, every day, 1:30 p.m., about half an hour, I'm going to cover all the 200 important grammar rules. There are about 500 rules. You should learn about 200. On the higher side, 300 rules for competitive exams. Competitive exams point of view. How can you master rules? Now, learning rules is one thing. Having the rules at your fingertips is another thing. If you have something at your fingertips, it means you have mastered that. Based on that, how to master grammar rules. It is not what you know that matters, but how fast you can choose the correct option that matters. Again, if you ask me, sir, why should we master grammar rules? Learning is one thing. You learn casually, some you remember, some you don't remember. That is not going to help. All the 200 rules should be at your fingertips. What is the reason? If you take today competitive exams, they are based on stipulated time. You should answer 30 questions in 20 minutes. There's a stipulated time. Then the exams are not about what you know. Competitive exams today, based on the time factor, they are about how fast you can answer, whether you can answer 30 questions in 20 minutes or not. So it is not about what you know, it is about how fast you can answer. To answer quickly, within no time, you have to master the rules, and all the rules should be at your fingertips. Coming to the next question, how can you master certain steps you have to take? First, you learn the concepts, then you learn the rules based on the concepts, then practice all the rules. Initially, topic wise, you have to practice, later, all topics shuffled. This is something very important. First, you learn concepts, rules based on the concepts. Then you practice topic wise rules. Then you take all the topics, you shuffle, and you practice at random, not in a systematic way, topic wise, but all the topics together. Next one, once you master the rules, you should take mock test for consolidation. Again, I tell students, consolidation is very important when it comes to competitive exams, because every day you are bombarded with a lot of information. You have to learn and remember a lot. Learning is not an issue for many candidates, many students. Remembering is a big problem. And they don't get time to read the notes every day. They don't allot time to revise regularly. Based on that, consolidation takes a back seat. But competitive exams, if you don't consolidate, you cannot handle. How can you consolidate? One way is to take mock test for consolidation. Again, the last one, practice previous year's papers for familiarity. Before you take the exam, you should work on previous year's papers. This is something very important. I strongly recommend. What is the reason? When you learn everything, then you work on previous year's papers, you get a fair idea what the standards are, how they ask the questions. Based on that, you will be able to deal with the questions in the exam. Wait for some time, let me complete this. Now the question is, where are these 200 rules? What are the topics? Where do we have the 200 rules? What is the source? Parts of speech, articles, tenses, tags, voice, narration, conditional, sentences, concord, parallel expression, redundancy, and common errors. Based on the topics, you have to learn the rules. Now let us go to 200 rules. Today I'm going to spend time. I think introduction has taken about 21 minutes. Now today I'll be teaching 4 important grammar rules. And all these rules I will be taking in a systematic way. I'm going to start with nouns, then pronouns. It goes that way. And today when it comes to nouns, there are 4 rules you are going to learn. And these 4 rules are related to proper nouns. And one more thing I would like to tell here. Some of you may have the concepts. Some of you must have learned grammar. And when I talk about rules, I teach the rules with the assumption that you have the basics, you have the concepts. If you expect me to teach all the concepts, it is not possible. With the assumption that you know the basics, you have the basics, I touch the rules, I teach the rules. Now the first one goes with proper noun. But I may touch the concepts here and there. What is a proper noun? A simple definition. School grammar, you may go deep. Here you don't have to. A proper noun is a specific name of a person or a thing, anything for that matter. And what is the rule here? The first letter of a proper noun should be a capital letter, irrespective of its position in a sentence. You may say, sir, we know this rule. We all know this rule. What is the rule? If you take a proper noun, the first letter of a proper noun, it should be capital letter, irrespective of its position in the sentence. Then why should I teach you this? Usually, if you take SBI PO, IBPS PO, we have mains exam. Along with mains, we have descriptive English paper. When I take classes descriptive English, I give an assignment to students. I tell them, write about Hyderabad city. When I check the notes at random, I see some students writing Hyderabad, small letter. Can you make that mistake? Here, can you write Hyderabad this way? It is not a mistake, it's a blunder. Being a graduate, one can't afford to make a mistake like that. But I have noticed one more thing. If they start the sentence with a proper noun, they use a capital letter. But if the proper noun is in the middle of a sentence, end of a sentence, they try to use small letter. But do remember, wherever you use a proper noun, irrespective of its position, the first letter should be capital letter. That is rule number 1, an easy one. Let us go to rule number 2. This also goes with proper nouns. Proper noun, names of countries. If you take names of countries, they are specific. India, Canada, France, these are proper nouns. And general rule is, before proper nouns, in this context, before names of countries, we should not use any article. Proper nouns, names of countries, don't take articles. Look at the examples. India is a culturally rich country. He lives in France. They were in Australia last year. All these are names of countries. These are proper nouns. No article should be used. This is a general rule. I always tell students, in English, we have rules, we have exceptions. This is the general rule. But next one deals with the exception. Rule number 3, nouns related to proper nouns, exceptions to the article rule. Countries, some countries, they don't follow that rule. Means what? Before the names of some countries, though they are proper nouns, we should use a definite article, the. And again, exam point of view, I may give 10 examples, but 3 or 4 examples, very important, you can't afford to forget. I may ask you to put a star mark. I may say these are important, remember. Then some students may get the doubt, so how can you say they are important? After analyzing all the previous year's papers, based on the frequency, I say this is important, this is not important. Here, many of you, I'm sure you know, the USA, the UK, the UAE, they don't give in the exam. The US is a very popular country. He has been to the UK. These are rather easy. She likes to visit the Netherlands. This is an important example. 3 countries you have to remember: the Netherlands, the Philippines, and the Irish Republic. The Irish Republic is a unique nation, not a unique nation. Telugu I don't use here. This is completely in English. Who is this? Vemula Dayana. This platform, 200 grammar rules only in English. Don't expect me to use Telugu or bilingual approach. Try to understand, these are not difficult. Coming to rule number 4, proper noun. A proper noun becomes a common noun when we place an article before it. To put it the other way, if you use a proper noun as a common noun, then before that proper noun, you should use a definite article, the. This has been given in many exams and not easy to deal with. If you know the rule, you can handle, otherwise not easy. Look at the example. Lakshman is the Milton of a university. Shyam is the Bernard Shaw of a group. But I'll give a familiar example. Imagine there's a cricket team. And in that cricket team, one person plays like Sachin Tendulkar. Then we say, he is the Sachin of our team. Generally, Sachin is a proper noun, we don't use the. But when we say he is the Sachin of our team, he is the Dhoni of our team, here you are making a proper noun a common noun. Once you use a proper noun as a common noun, you should use a definite article the. Nothing wrong. But imagine you don't know the rule, then when you see a sentence like he is the Sachin of our team, you may think something is wrong. Nothing wrong with that. There's an important rule you have to remember. That's all about the 4 rules. What are the 4 rules you have learned today? First one goes with proper noun. The first letter of a proper noun should be capital letter, irrespective of its position. Second one, before names of countries which are proper nouns, we should not use any article. Third one goes with exception. Some countries, names of countries, though proper nouns, before them we should use a definite article the. And 3 examples you have to remember, you can't afford to forget: the Netherlands, the Philippines, the Irish Republic. And the fourth one, when you use a proper noun as a common noun, before that proper noun, you should use a definite article the. He is the Sachin of our team. He is the Dhoni of our team. Now, if you have questions, you ask me. All of you remember, let me spend a few minutes. This is all about 200 grammar rules, which are indispensable, important. That means important when it comes to any competitive exam. Could be banks, could be SSC, could be UPSC exams. Grammar rules are important, 200 grammar rules. And every day I'll be touching 4 or 5 rules based on the topic. I will teach all the 200 grammar rules. And after, let's say, 10 rules, I may bring one exercise. You have to answer the question. That's how you can consolidate. But a word of caution here. If you ask me, sir, once we learn all the 200 rules, can we answer all the questions in the exam? Can we spot the errors? My answer will be no. What is the reason? Listen very carefully. When we talk about bank exams, other exams too, but specifically bank exams, we talk in terms of before 17, before 2017, after 2017. Before 2017, English section, in a way, substandard bank exams. And after 17, SBI, courtesy SBI, standards have gone up. And that time, they would give a short sentence and a question based on simple rule. But now they're giving lengthy sentences and questions, they have become a little complicated. Now, if you ask me the same question, so we learn all the 200 rules, can we answer all the questions? Answer is no. Then what are you supposed to learn besides rules? I tell students today, rules indispensable and in a way essential and also a prerequisite. But that alone will not help you in the exam. What is required? Rules plus contextual awareness. This is the most important thing today because the sentences are lengthy, they are using unfamiliar context. Rules plus. Thank you very much. Who is this? Anvesh, thank you very much. Today, rules plus contextual awareness, you can answer any question effortlessly. Now comes the $1,000,000 question. You should ask me, so how can we become good at contextual awareness? Only one way. You should read the Hindu paper every day for 6 months. You have to read the headlines. You have to read one editorial. Then you get exposed to the language and you get exposed to a variety of context. You develop contextual awareness. That will help in the exam. Merely learning rules is not going to take anywhere. No doubt you have to learn rules, but things have changed. Standards have gone up. Rules plus contextual awareness, you can handle, you can answer any exam topic. Almost all the questions you will be able to deal with. Now, if you have a question, you ask me. Courtesy means because of, in that context. 2017, after that, the standards have gone up. I said courtesy SBI. Means what? Because of SBI, standards have gone up. That year, the paper was very tough. Many candidates got 0 in English. That's all for today. Let us, it's almost 1:52. If you don't have questions, I would like to wind up the session. And tomorrow also, same time, 1:30, we'll continue. Today you have learned 4, tomorrow 5 to 10. It goes that way. Thank you very much.